Good afternoon and welcome to the City Council meeting for the City of International Falls for Monday, March 19, 2018. I would ask all present to please arise and pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would ask the City Administrators to note the roll call with Councillor Pearson absent. Move to the agenda, and we have additions to the agenda. Item number 6 under new business to approve the resolution with the Minnesota Department of Transportation agreement for an air servicing marketing agreement. And then there are 2 items under correspondence. Council's pleasure with the agenda and the addition. Motion by Councillor Briggs to adopt the agenda with the additions. Second by Councillor Jacksaw. Discussion on the motion or the agenda. Hearing none. Question on the approval of the agenda?
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion is carried and the agenda is approved with the additions. Thank you. Excuse me. We'll go to the approval of the minutes of the March 5th, 2018 regular City Council meeting. Motion by Councillor Briggs to approve the minutes.
I will second again.
Motion seconded by Councillor Jacksaw. Discussion on the motion or the minutes. Question.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried. Minutes for March the 5th are approved. Thank you. Move to the resolution on transfers and payment of claims. And we have in that resolution transfers to the general fund from the Water and Sewer Fund, $9,951.67. To the Permanent Improvement Fund from the Water and Sewer Fund, $62,500. And to the Reserve for Capital Outlay from the Water and Sewer Fund, $25,760.42. Under accounts payable claims, the City of International Falls, $340,242.16. Airport commission claims of $8,661.85. Library board claims of $6,342. Your pleasure with the resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move to approve those claims.
Motion by Councillor Jacksaw to adopt the resolution approving the transfers and the payment of claims.
I'll second.
Second by Councillor Droba. Discussion on the motion or the resolution. Hearing no discussion, place the question.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried. Resolution is adopted and transfers and payment of claims are approved. Thank you. Anyone in the audience that wishes to approach the council at this time? Not, we would have that opportunity again at the end of the meeting. Excuse me. We would go to the openings of bids, and item number 1 is to accept the low bid and approve the first reading of the contract ordinance approving the lowest responsible bid for the 9th Avenue Street reconstruction from 11th Street to 17th Street to Bowman Asphalt Products in the amount of $766,335 and authorize a signature. This is the first of the 2 readings of the contract ordinance. Your pleasure with the
Move.
motion by Councillor Briggs.
Second.
Second by Councillor Droba. Approve the first reading of the ordinance. Discussion. Hearing none. Question.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried, and the first reading of the ordinance to do the 9th Avenue reconstruction is approved. Thank you. Item number 2 is accept the low bid and approve the first reading of the contract ordinance for the lowest responsible bid for the Crescent Drive improvements from Memorial Drive, including the cul-de-sac, to Wagner Construction Incorporated in the amount of $718,723.75 and authorizing the necessary signatures. Motion by Councilor Droba to approve the first reading.
Second.
Second by Councilor Jacksaw. Discussion on the contract or the motion? Question?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried, and the first reading having been approved for the work on Crescent Drive. Thank you. Go to the consent agenda. Approve the travel and training expenses for Councilor Droba to attend the March 8-9, 2018 meeting of the Minnesota Emergency Communications Board.
I approve. I move.
Motion by Councilor Jacksaw to approve the consent agenda, second by Councilor Briggs. Question?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion is carried. Consent agenda is approved. Thank you. Move to new business. First item requires no action, but it's the open book meeting to discuss the property valuation assessment at the County Assessor's Office on Wednesday, May 9, 2018, from 9 a.m. to noon. This is for the public and council information. City Administrator, my understanding is that citizens of International Falls that have a desire to have their property valuation or assessment discussed with the county assessor and with the county board as a committee would need to attend such a meeting?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor and Council. The Board of Equalization has a meeting scheduled on Tuesday, June 12th at 1:30. But for anybody to go and have the Board of Equalization evaluation on their property, they need to first meet the county assessor at the open book meeting. And as you pointed out, that is scheduled for May 9th by the county assessor's office, and consult with him and have a discussion about how they came to their particular valuation. I would point out that for our truth and taxation hearings in December, we often get people at that meeting to discuss their property, changes in their property valuation, and really the December meeting isn't the time to do that. That's to do that at this May 9th meeting. Concerns or questions about their valuation at the May 9th meeting?
Any questions or discussion by the council with regard to that information? We'll move to item number 2 under new business, and that's to approve the International Falls Bass Championship Tournament use of Smoky Bear Park, August 23, 24, and 25 of 2018.
I'll move.
Motion by Councilor Jacksaw.
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Droba to approve the use of Smoky Bear Park for the Bass Championship in August. Discussion.
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
Last year, I think we had some questions after the bass tournament on just, I don't even know how to word it. There were some issues that came up that I don't think have been addressed yet. And obviously, I'm not in any way against the Bass Championship going on as scheduled, but I'll vote for this, but they're also looking for a liquor license. I think that is a less time-sensitive issue. So when we get to the liquor license, I'm probably going to request that to be tabled until we meet with the Public Works Director to hammer out all the problems that we had last year so that we have a smooth bass tournament this year.
Thank you, Councilor Droba. I know that it's been on the agenda for the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee, and I believe that the plan of action is to have the Public Works Committee meet with a number of organizations that are conducting activities at the Smoky Bear Park or out on the street, and that would include the July 4th celebration, the bass tournament, the Labor Day picnic. I think there's a number of them where we want to have some understanding with the organizations as to what should occur. I know that when we need to block off the street there for the safety of folks using the park and in fact this whole city square, but at the same time we have vehicles parking on lawns and so forth, and so I think we need to have further discussion, and so I think your point is well made with regard to having a meeting with a number of organizations, not just the Bass Championship. Further discussion.
So we would expect to hear from the Public Works Committee in the near future about recommendations for regulations or
Guidelines on for use of the park. It's at the request of Public Works, and they're trying to maintain the city square. Further questions or discussion? Not, the chair would place the question then with regard to approval of the use of Smoky Bear Park by the International Falls Bass Championship.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion is carried, and approval is given. Thank you. Item number 3 under new business is to approve the resolution for the International Falls Bass Championship application for an exempt permit to sell raffle tickets, with the drawing to be held Saturday, August 25, 2018 at Smoky Bear Park.
So moved.
Motion by Councillor Jacksaw to approve the resolution.
Second.
Second by Councillor Droba. Question on the motion or the resolution? None. Question.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried. Resolution is adopted, and approval is given for the raffle on August 25 by the Bass Championship. Thank you. Item number 4 under new business is to approve the resolution for the International Falls Bass Championship application and permit for a 1 to 4 day temporary on-sale liquor license for the annual Bass Championship tournament held August 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
Mr. Mayor, table this until the Public Works has a chance to work with the committee from the Bass Championship.
Motion by Councillor Droba to table the request for the temporary liquor license until the Public Works Committee has an opportunity to meet with these organizations.
Question. Can you debate a table? Or I don't want to debate it. I just want point of information.
Well, the Chair would ask a second for the motion to table.
Second.
Second by Councillor Briggs. Discussion then. Chair would allow discussion. I don't know if it's appropriate, but I think it is. I think it's allowed. Yeah.
I totally think this needs to be addressed. I just don't. Why is it important to hold this back? I'm assuming we'll have cooperation from the bass fishing tournament group when you meet, so I just didn't know why this particular piece of holding this back would make.
Well, this is, in my opinion, this is probably one of the bigger funding sources that they have. By holding this particular piece back, we have a lot of time between now and August, And if we can meet with them, we put it back on the agenda and we talk about it. Last year, we approved everything pending them meeting with Public Works to talk about the issues that we had the previous year, and that never happened.
Oh, okay. Then there's good reason.
I just want to make sure that we have a conversation. I believe there was a phone call, but it was never returned.
Okay.
So,
Now I understand. Thank you.
Okay, the motion before the council on item number 4 under new business is to table, temporarily table the issue until there's a meeting with the question? Question?
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried, and resolution is tabled. Thank you. Item number 5 under new business is a resolution approving application and permit for a 1 to 4-day temporary on-sale liquor license for the Knights of Columbus, Council 1540, for the St. Thomas School silent auction.
So moved.
Motion by Councillor Jacksaw.
second.
Second by Councillor Droba. Approve the resolution. Discussion. Question.
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried. Resolution is adopted, and the application and permit for the on-sale liquor license is approved. Thank you. Item number 6 is the new item on the agenda, and that's to approve the resolution for the amendment number 1 to the Minnesota Department of Transportation fiscal year 2018 grant agreement for air service marketing. Motion by Councillor Jacksaw.
Second.
Second by Councillor Briggs. Discussion on the motion or the resolution? Question.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion is carried. Resolution is adopted, and the marketing agreement amendment is approved. Thank you. Item number 7 is to set the 2018 summer employee wages to comply with the state of Minnesota minimum wage requirements. Those would be first-year summer employees would be $10, and second-year employees would receive $11.
I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Motion by Councillor Jacksaw to set those employee wages for summer employees.
Second.
Second by Councillor Droba. Discussion on the motion or the wages? Hearing none. Question?
Aye.
And I'll vote yes. Motion is carried. Are set. Thank you. Item number 8 is to authorize the Chief of Police to designate temporary no parking areas and limited local street closures for film crews on March 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th, subject to certificate of liability insurance.
Moved.
Motion by Councillor Jacksaw. Second by Councillor Briggs. Discussion on the motion. Ability to designate no parking and street closures. Hearing none. Question.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion is carried. Authorization is approved. Thank you. Item number 9 is to approve the Minnesota State Colleges and Universities Memorandum Agreement between Mesabi Range College and the International Falls Ambulance Service and authorize the signatures. City Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. I'm requesting, this is a memorandum of agreement that we've executed on an annual basis for quite some time. In reviewing this particular agreement, I noted that there was a requirement for professional liability insurance. I communicated with staff at Mesabi Range College on Friday, and they were not able to respond to the question about whether or not the professional liability insurance could be deleted. Because we currently don't carry professional liability insurance, and we don't. I've received a response, and I'm just requesting that the council table this to the next available meeting when a question to the answer is, or an answer to the question has been provided.
Motion to table.
Motion by Councillor Jacksaw, second by Councillor Briggs to table the agreement between Mesabi Range College and the International Falls Ambulance Service. Discussion? Question?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, yes, motion is carried and tabled. Any other business, new business to come before the council? We'll move to reports of administrator, attorney, and department heads. City administrator.
Just a reminder, Mr. Mayor, the mediation session is scheduled on Friday. We'll start at 9 o'clock with the local 49ers. So just remind the councilors that are involved in that process that we have that meeting. It might be fruitful to beforehand just to refresh ourselves about what the city position.
I regret I won't be there, but I can.
What time is it, 8 or 8:30? 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock it is.
Okay, 8 o'clock on Friday. Good. Further?
Nothing.
Thank you. City attorney.
Mr. Mayor, council members, just point of information, had a busy day in court today, and we actually had 4 convictions and sentences completed for individuals that had aggravated DUIs with blood alcohol levels of over 0.20, and the legal limit is 0.08, and if it's more than double, if it's 0.16 or higher, even if it's a first offense, the severity level goes to a gross misdemeanor instead of just a misdemeanor, and penalties are increased. There's supervised probation, jail time as a part of the sentence, and I don't ever recall having so many serious cases all in one day. But I wanted to let the council know that Chief Maston's officers are just doing an excellent job of trying to keep our streets safe, and thankful for the assistance that they provide. A couple of contested omnibus hearings recently where defendants can challenge whether or not their rights were violated in the stop and the arrest and the testing and everything, and Chief's officers just do an excellent job of representing the city and testifying as to what they did and why they did it, and proud of our police department. That's all I have.
Thank you for that report, City Attorney Shimon. It's good to hear. I think Chief Maston and his staff are doing outstanding work in this community, and thank you for your work as attorney.
I didn't even know you'd be conscious at point.
I've seen him as high as 0.34, but that's a near-death experience for most people, unless you're a real experienced. I mean, if somebody drinks regularly, then they aren't as affected by. They're just more used to it. And these were all
cases in the sense that they didn't have a lot of offenses. They weren't. We did have one defendant in court who did not plead guilty, who's fighting it, and his attorney was asking for a bail reduction because I was asking for quite high bail to get him out of jail, and some judge went through his record, and I think he had about a dozen different incidents of either drinking and driving or driving after his license had been canceled as inimical to public safety, going back over like a 20-year period. The judge had originally set bail, and the attorney made this argument that the judge went through it. Also, he ordered probation to do a bail study and informed the attorney that he may be increasing the bail tomorrow. So that argument kind of backfired. But yeah, it's a very serious issue, and one that's, it's really not funny. I shouldn't laugh about it, but and I just saw, we didn't seem to have a number of incidents locally, but I saw an article in the Minneapolis Tribune, I think it was, that over St. Patrick's Day weekend there were twice as many DUI arrests statewide as the year before.
Weekend adds to the, if it's during the week, it's probably a little bit less activity.
The fact that it comes on a Saturday night, and being of Norwegian descent, I would just blame that on the Irish.
Right.
I have nothing further to report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for a great report, City Attorney. Being no one else here from the departments, we'll move to reports of the mayor, council committees, boards, and commissions. Any committee?
Well, when I get back from Portland, which will be late March, April, the Housing Committee, we should have more on the housing study by then too, but the city's housing subcommittee or ad hoc committee will be getting ready to start planning our annual. Now it's going to be an annual garbage pickup because we did 4, then we did 2, and now one is enough, I think. So
Citywide cleanup.
Citywide, yeah, that's enough.
Very good.
So we'll be planning that. Brian's always been there with Trusty Brian with your truck there and your trailer. So yeah.
Very good.
It'll be a tradition.
Good tradition. Thank you. Okay, further from council committees or boards or commissions? You have the mayor's report. Hearing nothing further, anyone in the audience that wishes to approach the council at this time? If not, would bring to your attention on correspondence. And the first item under correspondence, the Convention and Visitors Bureau minutes. I would ask you to take and turn to the last page of those minutes. And there's an item noted as other, and it's the Voyager Forward Tourism Destiny Driver will be working with the county to develop a policy on short-term online rentals. And I have concern about that. We had discussion this past week with on the land use ordinance on short-term rentals, and there was concern that we would have those in the community because it's going to take away from staying at hotels and motels and beds and breakfasts that would be licensed. Now, we don't have anything, but if folks want to open their home up under short-term rentals, I guess this is the newest thing, kind of like
Airbnb.
Yeah, and Uber and taxis and all this kind of thing. And I just I see a real challenge to collecting the lodging tax and Department of Health issues and so forth. So I think that I would certainly be concerned about I don't know if that would include the city if the county was to develop a policy, but I would really question whether we want that here in the city. So,
We had a lengthy discussion about that at the planning meeting last week. And I thought we had decided that the only time this can occur in the city is if the rentor, not the person who's doing the renting, is renting a room or a space in a house that they are living in. That was the requirement, wasn't it? That they were actually the homeowner and living there.
well, they had to be, it had to be eligible for homestead credit.
Yeah.
In order to do that. That's what was proposed, but I thought that the discussion was not to have
Any at all?
Airbnb.
Okay.
That's...
We haven't really.
City Administrator, if you care to comment on that?
Mr. Mayor, I would just add that there was a discussion a fairly lengthy discussion about that, and there are some concerns with short-term rentals in a residential community, noise, or people are usually vacationing, and also some concerns raised about whether or not those particular short-term rentals would be subject to paying the lodging tax. And so I did print out a copy of our lodging tax ordinance. I passed it on to the consultants. I think they're going to review it closer. But I think the passing comment that she made when she left was that it appeared that they were going to pay the 3% lodging tax for that. So, but you're both correct. There was a requirement that it be a homestead property, which means that the property owner has to reside in that at least 6 months out of the year. But they can be gone for a week, a month if they happen to be down south in the winter and somebody here, and you could have some. I know that you would not be subject to the lodging tax if you stayed. We'll have to review the final draft of the zoning regulations to see how she'll be coordinating with her between.
I think that if there's a theory in law, and that your larger government that encompasses your smaller government unit can be more permissive, and the smaller unit can be more restrictive, but the smaller unit cannot be less restrictive than the larger unit. So isn't that,
That's correct.
Yeah, so...
The county could have a policy more liberal than the city, and the city could have a
more
stricter policy.
restrictive. But we couldn't be less restrictive than the counties.
Mayor,
Please.
I wouldn't say that talking to the Koochiteen County to make sure that their planning and zoning has ordinances or a policy the county has as it relates.
So we aren't impacted by what they do at all.
That would be my interpretation.
Oh, and I guess I raised the level of discussion on short-term online rentals because I think that it could be a neighborhood problem. I think, as you pointed out, if someone rented their home for a few days or a week or a weekend, and someone comes in and parties hard and makes noise and disrupts the neighborhood character and culture, I think that it certainly needs to. We need to have something there to protect those folks. So, but anyway, just a point of information under correspondence.
So much fun trying to regulate human behavior.
Further under correspondence, just to bring to your attention, let's see, on the Highway 53 open house will be on April the 5th, which will be after our next city council meeting, because our next city council meeting will be on April the 2nd, but just wanted to bring that to your attention. And also the Highway 11 bridge replacement at Rainier, that the community building, there'll be a public meeting on April the 3rd there. So a couple of big items that are going to impact traffic here in the community in the next few years. With that, further to come before the council? Hearing none, the next regular city council meeting is April 2nd at 4:30 p.m. Nothing further to come before the council. We'll stand adjourned. Thank you.